A lot of people are talking about fangames like Undertale Yellow, TS Underswap, and more, but I've never seen anyone talk about Undertale Green, and that's not without reason. It doesn't have much to work off of, and the game is pretty short in itself. But I still believe that there is a lot that works for this game, so that's what I'm going to talk about here today. What works, what doesn't, what should be fixed, and finally, should you check this game out? Also, yes, I'm aware there's another Undertale Green fangame in the works, but that's not it, so I'm not going to be talking about it. Let's get into it. First off, we gotta know, what is Undertale Green? Well, Undertale Green, in simple terms, is an Undertale fangame that follows the story of the fifth human to fall to the underground, Cody, who is the soul of kindness. Other than that, the story is essentially the same, until we get into the underground. We start off in the mines, and the first enemy we encounter is Undyne, which seems like a weird decision at first, but honestly, I love it. It gives us a deeper look into Undyne, her character, and why she is the way she is in Undertale. It also explains how we got the frying pan and where it came from, because she's the one who gave it to us. Because she felt like it was an unfair fight because of the fact, well, we didn't have a weapon and she was fighting us. So after fighting her, she decides to tell us that she has really no desire to hurt us. She just wants to make her dad proud and join the Royal Guard, which is interesting, but to be honest, could use some reworking. The start is incredibly rushed with Undyne going, "Haha, I will fight and kill you," to, actually, I don't wanna. Feels really strange in terms of the pacing, but it's whatever. Undyne follows us into the mines and, a flower bed. Wonder what that's doing here. Well, it turns out this patch of flowers acts as your save point. Another strange decision, but like before, one that I love. Makes the game stand out heavily and hints at Flower being the one who is saving for us, considering he's also a flower. Now, I'm gonna do a quick lightning round here because a lot of what I say is gonna be fairly short and doesn't need a lot of time. So here we go. 1. The sprite art is really good, but some places do need some work, like the battle sprites or animations. 2. A lot of battle encounters are scripted, which isn't a good or bad decision, just something I wanted to point out. 3. Music is either really good or does just the bare minimum to fit the theme of the area it's in, which isn't bad, but maybe use original songs as placeholders until new ones are made. 4. The healing machine is actually a really cool game function, and I hope it stays on future updates. And that's everything. Back to the more detailed stuff. The areas are really pretty as well and are quite interesting, and I love how the game takes a different path by making us go through the mines of the ruins or the forests of Snowdin. Sadly though, a lot of the areas are really small and feel incredibly boxed in, which is upsetting. The game has a lot to work with and would benefit from more exploration, considering, like I said, these areas are really pretty and interesting. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to be rude, but take Undertale Yellow for example. These areas have huge open spaces with a lot of room to move around. I'm not saying make these areas as massive and open as Undertale Yellow, but I am saying give us more incentive to look around and see the things that are around us, especially if your game is going to be this big. And finally, the bosses. I will be going over the bosses in order of appearance, so we're starting with Scar. Scar is the first boss of the game. He has taken over the minecart rails and now you have to stop him from causing any harm. If you're doing pacifist, you either have to beat the hell out of him, or jump, triple jump, and then backflip to press him, and make him leave us alone. Ever do a backflip on a minecart? That was the deaths. After all this, we can spare Scar, and after he will throw a tantrum and start jumping up and down, which causes us to fall because he wants to see more tricks. If you're doing genocide, you kill him, and he will bleed out, and everything will start shaking and the same ending will happen. Next up is Cooper. He is our second boss of the game, and he fights us because after snooping around his office, because we believe that he has something to do with the virus outbreak in the game, and then warns us he's coming back after we find something, telling us to hide, and after being caught, he scolds us, has a quick panic attack, and then fights us. His fight is the first one to change the color of our soul to purple because apparently he had some power that he gained a while back. There's no way to act your way out of this, so you kind of have to wait out all his dialogue and try not to die. I managed to find old footage of the game, and Cooper's shell used to light up, and honestly, I love that much more than this in frame cycle. Hope that's re-added when Chapter 3 and remade Chapters 1 and 2 come out. If you want to kill him, you don't have to wait out any dialogue, you just beat the crap out of him. Now that we've beaten Scar and Cooper, we move on to Sealy. Celie is a circus seal who just wants some recognition for what she does, and giving her recognition by applauding her and encourage her will allow you to spare her, or you can kill her, per usual. And finally, the last boss is the Ghost Bros. Depending on the route, this fight can be okay or absolute hell. Doing Pacifist, you have to drag it out and encourage Stitch to stand up to Billy and Trevor, two ghosts that have been bullying Stitch for whatever reason. Once you've encouraged him enough, you can finally win the fight and move on. If you're doing genocide, Stitch will turn into another one of those bullies and become Nasty, but if you want on steroids. You can't kill them, so your best bet to win is by dragging out the fight and waiting for them to get bored and leave. Depending on your route, if you did Pacifist, Stitch will stay, scare you, be proud of himself for scaring you, and you two continue the journey together. If you did Genocide, you will hear a voice and encounter Flowey who will tell you he's been saving your journey, hence why you were waking up in golden flowers. So that's about everything I can talk about here. So now, I have a few issues on what needs fixed and what I really hope to see be fixed in future updates. First off, the pacing. That's a given. It's perfect and great in some places, but struggles and is utterly abysmal in others. Make your areas more open and give the player a reason to explore. There should be more for the player to do instead of giving them a straight shot path. Like I said, you don't have to make these areas massive and open like Undertale Yellows, but definitely give them more to do and look at. Work on the spriting and music. Some art in music is amazing, like overworld sprites or battle themes. Like, look at this little guy. I love him. But then there's others that do nothing but the bare minimum, which is fine, but it can be so much more. Trevor and Billy's fight isn't really well balanced, making it a pain to beat and probably resulted in a few rage quits. And finally, some puzzles in the game like Undyne flipping the switch and the Asgore rearrangement puzzle are pains to do if you don't know what you're doing at all. So maybe dumb them down or replace them. But other than that, that's about it. So in conclusion, is this game worth playing? I'd say yes. It's a very fun experience, but I would definitely recommend waiting until chapters 1 through 3 are out once they've been reworked and remade. But if you want to play them to form your own opinions on it, I say watching it or even playing, if you're really trying to scratch that itch of Undertale content. So yeah, thanks for watching. This is my first time doing one of these, so apologies if it's messy. However, if y'all want to see me make more of these in the future, I gladly will. It was very enjoyable and I feel talking about this game. Have a good day.